Hi, I'm Jazz and I'm an alcoholic and I'm codependent. I work a 12-step program and I seek health. I am a seeker and a traveler in my journey. I was a codependent before I was an alcoholic. My issues of bad coping have been brewing ever since childhood. And those bad habits and those ruts and those scars are from a long, long time ago. And it's only now that I'm actually getting to the root of my issues, because I am so sick of running into the same situations and problems that I'm putting in this extra deep work, getting to the root of issues, and I'm pulling everything up and I'm figuring things out about myself, but I'm gaining a lot of knowledge and strength from doing that. It is scary, it is slow, it is necessary, and it pays off. It is paying off. So I was codependent before I was an alcoholic, and I believe that my alcoholism, I wish I could have just stopped at codependency and not become a full-blown alcoholic, but my path ended up in a situation where I almost died in a bathtub. So I luckily did get sober, but that's how far it went. And then I got into Coda and I'm figuring out this other stuff. But one of the things is, if I got to rehab, I was very emotionally unavailable. I got sober and then I thought I was emotionally available. I thought I was great. I thought I was alive and on just because the booze was gone. And over the years, I figured out that there's way more work to that. That was just the beginning. And being, 4.5 years down the road, getting into even deeper work, even becoming even more emotionally available and learning all of the turns and the turning points has been huge. I was talking with my sponsor one day and she's like, I'm stuck in my head. If I'm stuck in my head for hours, I'm not emotionally available. I'm not emotionally available for my kids. I'm not in my present moment. And I heard this in the early days of my first program, the beginning of my recovery. And another lady always said to me, stay in the moment, stay in the moment. And I always blew that off, thinking, yeah. Okay, I know what's going on around me. I get it, stay in the moment. And I think that really is linked with not being emotionally present, not being really present in the moment. I'm not really present if I'm thinking about something, if I'm thinking about my work, if I'm thinking about invoices, if I'm thinking about that thing that person said and I'm going around and around, then I'm not being emotionally available to anyone that's around me in that state, because I'm actually somewhere else. And a lot of my program is working at trying to get back into being in the present moment, emotionally available, having my peace and being calm. And I need help to get into that state again. And that to me is really getting a grip on becoming present, becoming emotionally available. Signs that I notice about people that are emotionally unavailable is oftentimes they're always, it's no big deal, it's no problem to me, I'm fine. I notice that there's a lot of, pushing aside, minimizing. One of the other ways that, for myself, that I used to be emotionally available, it was when I was in my rage, masking other emotions with bigger emotions, like being in resent or whatever. So I was a very resentful, angry lady. And I was also stuck in self-pity a lot because I was suffering from the choices that I made in my life. And I was fixing my life in early recovery, and I'm still working on fixing my life. And, I used to stay in self-pity. Like, I think for the whole first year I was in self-pity. And I got out of that. But that state of mind kept me from just figuring out, that kept me in victim mode. And if I'm in victim mode, I'm not fixing anything with myself. I'm deflecting, I'm sidestepping. I'm not there. So often in my day, I'm trying to be in the moment. I'm trying to be available. And when I first got into Coda, I was very upset. Like, everything was everywhere. And I was suffering, and I got there, and I could not tell who was emotionally available and who wasn't. And I remember just thinking, like, I want to get away from these people. I don't want to spend any more time with emotionally unavailable people. And I pointed the finger a lot and, like, they're emotionally unavailable, they're emotionally unavailable. But while I'm pointing this finger, I was always angry at what they were doing. And I would stand by the fire and get burned. And then I would complain about how I kept getting burned by the fire. And I wouldn't stand away from the fire. So I focused on the fire that person was making all the time and how it affected me. But I really wasn't doing everything that I could to start backing away. And I started backing away slowly and working at that. So today, since I've done a lot of this work, I really do see the emotionally unavailability in people. And what's so great is that working at this stuff, the answers do come. And by continually working at it, I do get to see. It's happened like that with everything that I've worked at in my recovery programs. I've just kept at it, and then it does materialize. It has been materializing for me all along. So I have this faith and this momentum, and it snowballs and it snowballs. So lots of awareness and trust has been built. I notice, because I have started to hang around a lot more emotionally available people, because it's so much more of a joy for me to hang around those kind of people. What I've noticed is it's way easier, and there's lots of back and forth. There's eye communication. There's people are remembering, people are talking. There's a warmth of feeling. And with emotionally unavailable people, I've noticed sometimes it can be shorter. It can go into storytelling. It can go into facts, intellectual stories. It goes away from feelings. It goes away from connection. It goes into sort of like a logical land or something. The thing is that after hanging out with someone emotionally available or around them, I feel energized. I feel like I remember that person better. I feel like they get me. I feel like I matter. And there's like a holding there. And I notice when emotionally unavailable people, it's a bit more dry. There just isn't that oomph after. It doesn't feel like I could go, run a mile. It feels more like I'm in a bit of confusion and like what happened, or it's almost like an interaction that didn't matter too much. And it's, it just goes by. And so I just find that when that emotional connection is there, I do really feel like the other person is happier to give themselves to you in every way. Like there's something consistent about emotionally available people. They will talk to you, they will look at you, they will text back right away, they will remember things that you say. It's often that when I throw the ball in their court, the ball is getting caught and the ball is coming back. And it happens every single time. And when that happens every single time, it signals to me that you are trustworthy, that you know and care about me. So I am having an easier time to throw my ball back into your court because I know that you're always going to catch it, because you've shown me that you're always going to catch it, that you catch my ball. And so I want to keep being your friend. So basically, I find emotionally available people there's just an easy joy that comes with it. It's airy and it's light. And with unavailability, it's like there's a monotone. It's business. It's nothing ever gets them upset. Often emotions are a nuisance or an annoyance, or they should be wrapped up and put away. Or often, if I have emotions, that unavailable person isn't going to meet my emotions, and they're not going to want to talk to me about them. They're going to feel bogged down. It's going to be met with something different. And emotionally available people will meet you with your emotion. They will hold your hand in an emotional way through the air. There's a connection that happens. And I think that with the unavailability, it's just a lot of, there isn't that, it's not easy. It's like difficult. It's like you really got to work at trying to figure out what you're talking about. And I don't always feel like everything is received. Like if anything, I'm left with a bit of doubt and uncertainty. And I'm likely going to question going back to that same place because something felt a bit off. It's always just a bit off. And oftentimes I find those people don't really know what their feelings are. They might be mixing up their feelings with their thoughts. And it bothers them or bogs them down when asked what their feelings are. It doesn't come. Usually they cannot say how they feel. And feeling can be, asking someone about a feeling, that can be done with one word. You can ask someone about a feeling and ask again and you can go deeper. Sometimes my sponsor asks me, like, what are you feeling? And I'll say the first one, but oftentimes I can actually go deeper and find the real one, the deeper one, the one that my own eyes don't want to see, that I'm protecting inside. And those are the ones I got to get to. Those are the ones that I have to get out. And I have to get help and sometimes walk out with someone to figure out what those feelings are. So it's a lot of work. and I work at it. So I find with the unavailability in others that don't have it, I try not to spend as much time I try not to spend too much time with those people. And they're often not able to tell me the feeling. And I find when two people can't share their feelings, their deep, intimate feelings with each other, I don't know how you can have a foundation without that, because then it becomes more of like a co-worker, businessy, transactional situation. Because now if you can't have a feeling, two people can't have a feeling, then you can't bond in that intimate, vulnerable space. Feelings are very true. They're a a very honest and sacred space that only I know. It's almost like I know what my secret is. What's your secret? And then you share the secret. And when two people share a secret, there's the beautiful connection that happens. And now that I know your secret, I'm going to protect it very carefully, because I'm going to honor it and take care of it. And now I know your secret and you know mine. We have this little pact that we make. And I feel like that is where some of the most beautiful connections can be born. And especially like in an intimate partner relationship, I think that is so necessary to be able to have that ability to share those deep secrets, to share how you're feeling, and it's safe and it goes back and forth. And for me, that you can go all the way up from there, but without having space for that, it's hard to have that real, safe, trustworthy, intimate partner relationship. And for myself, like I've had to do a lot of work to figure out some childhood wounds to also help me figure out how to get my feelings out and what's going on with my feelings. So as my day goes on, I'm consciously aware of what's going on, naming my feelings, getting on the phone, and then trying to get back into the present moment so that I am available for my people and my environment and myself. Because when I'm emotionally available, I know what the most honest thing is going on with me. I'm most connected to that truth within. If I always ignore that truth, I'm living a different life. I'm living the mask life. I'm living the puppet life. And I need to get to the core. I need to get to the center. So it's still an unraveling process for me as I continue on this journey. But it helps me, since I've gotten this far, it's helped me to see where the dangers are, who the dangerous ones are, and to keep that distance, and then to learn that likely those unavailable people are not going to be as trustworthy. And if they're not as trustworthy, I am not going to get too close, because that never works out. It has not worked out for me to rely on untrustworthy people, but it took me a lot of time to figure out who is and who isn't. But those are some of the red flags, is just that there's a lot more. There's shut off moments. There's deflecting from the situation that happened. The story often gets changed. They don't know what their feelings are. Things are a bit jumpy and around. And my body knows when I'm talking to someone and they're lying to me and they're not telling the actual feeling that is showing on their own face, or the feeling that their body is actually telling my body. Like there's a lot of communication going on. And when someone's shut off, it shows, even though they say with their words something different. When it's emotionally available, the body and the words and the mind, it should all go in line, and it should continue to go in line. It should match. It should match often. And sometimes if it's not matching, it can be talked about. Maybe that person needs help with it to know what's going on with themselves and matching. Like, hey, you okay? Like maybe, do you want to have a talk? Like, I think for an emotionally available person, it's easier for them to be like, yeah, like I am pretty down about this thing that happened today. And there should be like just an easy open up. Like should just open up and just get to the point of it and talk about it. And it just comes out like a gentle waterfall. And then two people can just talk about problem. And when you're in that emotional state, then healing can take place. But if someone is always blocked off, they're not going to get that healing. They're not going to, because it takes two to heal through. It takes people and connection in that vulnerable space to walk through or out of a problem together, and getting connected with self and getting connected with people. Like, that is how I have grown through so much trauma and healing, is getting into that deep space with a trusted friend, opening up about those deep, vulnerable secrets, and then it's released. It's taken out of me. I'm not keeping it and protecting it anymore. I'm getting it out. All of this work is just looking in, getting it out in safe places and with that emotion. So it's such an important, vital step in recovery. And having gone this deep into this stuff now, it's so clear to me. And I am a more aware and awake, and I'm on out there. So I know I'm not going to get into the same trouble, and I can see it coming miles away now. So trust me when I say. So thank you so much. I hope that helps.